Jason Todd has finally gotten revenge on the Joker. In round 8 of DCKO, Jason was faced with the task of killing Joker, saying, "Sometimes when people look at me, even my friends and family, I feel like they don't see me. Instead, they see him." Well, no more. In this arena, that ends. The Quantum Quorum said we could bring something with us, one item, but it took me less than a minute to decide. They said all our enemies would be locked up in the Phantom Zone, but my gut knew better, which is why I chose what I chose. For years, Bruce studied the elements that made Joker into what he is, trying to figure out their secret, the Ace chemical compound. But Jason put his own twist on that. Joker tries to pounce on him, but Jason shoots him with this gun directly in the chest. And Joker says, "I've been shot plenty of times, kid, but this one feels kind of funny." And Jason says, "The compound in that bullet, it was produced from the same chemicals that made you, but amplified 1,000 times over." Joker begins to morph into something horrific, and he says, "Nicely played, but I also brought toys." And he throws a bomb at Jason, which causes him to fall off a catwalk and into a vat of the very same chemical that turned Joker into what he is. But Jason's body can't handle being Jokerized, so it winds up killing him instead, and Joker wins the first round. The second round takes place in the very warehouse that Joker originally killed Jason in. So Jason says, "Why the hell not? Let's do this," and chooses his form as that very same Robin. Joker's able to distract Jason with some boxes, but before he can realize it, Joker's behind him and hitting him with a crowbar. And Jason says, "Not again. This can't happen. This can't be how I lose. I'm not that kid anymore." And Jason is able to rip the crowbar out of Joker's hands. He begins to let loose on Joker, breaking every single bone in his body. He stands over him and says, "Beg, Joker, beg." And Joker says, "Please, kid, die." As Joker pulls out his gun and attempts to shoot Jason, but he's able to dodge out of the way at the last second, and the bullet hits the bomb instead, setting off a fiery explosion that blows up the entire warehouse. But only one of them is able to emerge from the rubble, as he walks away from the wreckage with Joker's dead body, and he wins the second round. The third round begins, and the Heart of Apocalypse tells Jason to choose yet another form. And so he winds up choosing an older, wiser version of himself as the Red Hood. But so did Joker. He chose his own Red Hood form, and he says, "Nice try, kiddo, but whatever form you take, you'll never be more than a footnote." But Jason's had enough of this. He says, "He means so little all of a sudden. I'm not part of his story anymore. He's part of mine." Jason sends Joker flying into a grave pit and begins to pummel him to a bloody pulp, saying, "Just before he finally dies, I see his true face, and I don't care." And he uses Joker's own helmet to finish him off and finally kill him. Jason crawls out of the pit and says, "Victory, I guess. Lost a lot of blood. I feel lightheaded. Even if I die alongside him, I know I was not created by the Joker or by Batman. I've made myself. I'm my own hero. I am the Red Hood." I know he has some trick up his sleeve, some way to live on, but it doesn't matter, because tonight and forever we both know who really won. And Jason succumbs to his own injuries. But we go back to Joker, and he has a pacemaker in his heart that starts back up. And Joker's heart begins to beat once again, and he comes back to life. And because Jason has already succumbed to his own injuries, Joker wins the third and final round.